everyone. I really hope this is working today. So I think what I promised last week was two things. One, I was going to think about a giveaway, which I meant to announce Wednesday and then forgot. And two was I wanted to talk about my sock book, and I also wanted to talk about all of the socks in my sock book. So I've talked about it a few times, but this is my Hoppy Feet sock book. And there's actually 14 patterns in here. There's 12 socks, one for every month. And then there's a pattern for a tea cozy and a pair of mitts. And I'm just trying to pull up the live video on Facebook so that I can make sure that I don't miss comments, because I do like to make sure that I catch all of your comments. So I think the 3 o'clock it's going to be the new time that I'm on, so it'll be 3 Central, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern, and like usual I will save it to the Facebook page, share it to the Facebook page, and I'll try to save it and put it up on YouTube as well. So yeah, I'm trying to pull up the live feed, but of course it's being difficult. Plus I really want to make sure that I'm actually in frame, because I have the camera turned around today so that I can talk to you. So anyway, I'll keep trying to pull this up, but while I'm doing that, I want to talk to you about what I did with Hoppy Feet. So Hoppy Feet was this collaboration between myself and Tina. It was one of the first projects that we really worked on. It's part of what I think led to me becoming a partner in the shop. And that was because I'd been designing patterns, but I knew that I had some drawbacks because my patterns, I was designing at a stash, so I just bought it because I liked it, and then I designed with it. And I didn't really have a sponsor, and I didn't really have someone doing good photos, and I wasn't designing with yarns that were all carried in one shop, and so it's not necessarily drawbacks, it's just differences. But I really wanted to branch out, and I wanted to write more patterns, and I really wanted to do a book because I had been teaching myself publishing software, and I wanted to put together a book. So I came to Tina with the idea of doing a monthly sock club, or she approached me. Actually, it might not even have been monthly. She just said a sock club, and I think I ran with the idea. And I went home one night, and I came back either the next day or 2 days later, and I'm like, I have all the ideas, and I have them all laid out, and I know what I want to do. So yeah, let's do this. We can totally do this. Oh good, I am in frame. Hi Bev, nice to see you. So I embarked on a journey of making socks and learning everything that I could think of to learn about socks. Not that I was a sock newbie. I'd already made, I don't know, almost 100 pairs of socks by the time I did this book. But I learned even more, and it was really interesting to me to explore toes and heels and cast-ons and cast-offs, and that's part of what led to my series of YouTube videos, which you can find at blacksheepfiberemporium.com, all about cast-ons. And so I videoed cast-ons so that if it was a new to you cast-on, that you would have the opportunity to see how I taught it and how it made sense to me. So that's why I have that whole series of cast-ons on YouTube. Now, that being said, the first sock that I designed for the club was this guy. This is Hoarfrost. And it's not exactly a difficult pattern. It's a pretty easy repeat. I think it's only a 7-stitch repeat. Just a 7-stitch repeat. But what really threw people off was the shaping in the heel, because I do carry the patterning down the heel, and then again on the toe, because we've got the patterning and the shaping on the toe, because I really wanted to have a pretty hoarfrost inspired sock, right? This is a sock that that was inspired by frozen water, if you want to think of it that way, right? Hoarfrost. And this is definitely the hardest sock in my entire book. And of course it was the first sock because it was January, so January needed the hoarfrost sock. But that really threw people off. So for February, I designed something much, much simpler. I did just these little short sort of crew sock type socks. What should I call these? Hoarfrost socks, and then the Northern Lights, that's right, Northern Lights socks. And unfortunately, we can't even get this colorway anymore. Super pretty colorway though, right? Those little pops of the green and yellow and red on this dark blue base. And this was a really simple sock. I used the alternating cable cast on. I did a reverse slip stitch patterned heel, so very similar to a slip stitch. I did the 3-pointed toe, where you have decreases on, put this on again, where you have decreases on 3 points, because that's why it's a 3-pointed toe. And then I did stacked ribbing, so the ribbing has just a little bit of texture in it, just something a little bit different. And I really liked this sock. It was a nice sock. It was an easy sock to kind of help people out since I had started with such a difficult one. And then I also designed these to go with it because you have so much yarn left over when you're making short socks that I went ahead and I designed the Northern Lights mitts then to go with the sock. And then my next one was the Dreaming of the Caribbean sock, which is actually a toe-up sock for those people who just love the toe-up socks. And I know that they're out there. I am not a huge fan of toe-up socks, but I know a lot of people love them. So I went ahead and I designed a toe-up sock, a pretty easy one. We used Judy's Magic Cast On. I had a short row heel. I used an increased wedge toe, so very traditional 4 increases around that toe. We had a scalloped cuff, and we used Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, cast off. And each of these socks is very different, and it's constructed in a different way, because my thought was that when you went through the whole book, that you would essentially become a sock master, because you would learn new techniques with every sock that you tackled. So that was kind of my thought there. The next sock that I designed was April, which was the Bouncing Bunnies socks. And we have color work in this one, but I wanted to make sure that we had some stretches of non-color work to give you a little bit of a break. Plus, color work can be tricky to fit around your leg. You have to make sure that you are knitting it at a soft enough float, soft enough gauge, because it's really important that your floats carry along the back. We did talk about that last week when I talked about color work. It's very important that your floats will stretch with your sock so that you can fit it over your leg. So that's a tricky thing to do, color work on your socks, especially because you want them to fit. This one was super fun. I actually used my Dutch bunnies as the inspiration. So I have Dutch bunnies and, Dutch bunnies and a little tulip that you can see on this sock. And I used a 2-color braided cast on, and then we did color work patterning in the cuff, in the leg, in the heel. So you can do color work patterning on your heels. There's no reason you can't. So just a regular heel flap with a little bit of color work. And then we did color work toes, and on the toes I decided to do eggs because why not? So it's bunnies and it's spring, and there's little like little Eastery egg type things all the way around the toe. And oh, I have a tiny little end trying to pop out. I'll clip that later. Anyway, and these socks are really fun. And then I just did stripes kind of up the toe. That way, you know, you had a little bit of color down there as well. So those were super fun and really soft. And I actually used a single for the colors in this, and then I used I think it was a 3-ply sock yarn. I think it was Cascade Heritage Silk, which I think that's a 3-ply, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me. As the base of this. So just something, you know, kind of fun, kind of colorful, and the bunnies, you know, the bunnies are super fun, right? So then May was my next toe-up sock. And there just aren't as many toe-up toes and toe-up heels yet as what we have for top down. I don't know why that is, but there just happens to be a lot more top down variations of those things than there are toe up variations. This one was really fun in the toe, it was really fun in the leg, and I absolutely hated making the toe up, what do they call this? The toe up round heel. I hated it. I hated it. It's really not my thing. Like really, really not my thing. And I understand the construction and I could do it again, but it's not my thing at all. If you love it, more power to you, but it is not my thing. I just don't. But I really loved the cable on this. I loved the twisted stitch that creates these tulips. That's why I called it pushing up tulips, because we go up making tulips. And then I also did a picot hem bind off, and these can be really tricky too. I did not do quite as good a job as I should have on my picot hem bind off. When I went to tack it down, it opens out just a little more than it should, but it is soft and it is open, and I can definitely get it over my foot. So that picot hem bind off can also be a little bit tricky. But, you know, so here we are, almost halfway through the year, and lots of different things that we've learned, right? And then the next sock, the honeybee socks. I don't know if I have that one. I think I do. Yes. I adored this pattern. I had so much fun making these like honeybees. Let's see if I can show the honeybees. I had so much fun at making these honeybees that I ended up making a really cute little teapot, little tea cozy. So here's the little tea cozy that goes with it. Just super, super cute little tea cozy. And then I loved it so much that I ended up making a cowl and mitts that matched it. So if you really wanted to be matchy-matchy, you could wear socks, mitts, a hat, a cowl, and like have your little teapot and be all fancy-dancy. Actually, I don't think I ever wrote the mitts up. But anyway, super fun. You can be super matchy because I loved it so much. And this one we used Tilly Buddy's Very Stretchy Cast On. I used a Welsh heel, which is a little bit different construction, but it incorporates a lot of pearls on the sides of the heel. Let's see if I can show that off. So pearls on the sides of the heel flap. And then I used, of course, cables and lace, and we did a flat toe down here. So a flat toe, just a slightly different construction. Not that different than a regular 4-point toe, but we did the flat toe here. So that was really fun. And then, of course, for July, I kind of fell back on something a little bit different again. And I did my, what did I call these? Fireworks socks. I'm pretty sure these are my fireworks socks. Yes. So this one was a knitted on cast on, where we had a band heel, because there's always a band for the 4th of July. And the band heel is really cool. I don't know if you can see this, but there is a band of knitting. It's the band heel that runs kind of all the way along that cupping area. This is what forms the heel cup on your sock and does all of the decreasing. It was a really interesting construction. I quite liked the band heel. I would probably make it again because it does fit my foot pretty nicely. And you'll notice that you have a little bit of kind of a gathering due to that band heel and the way that the stitches are picked up along the gusset edge. Just something a little bit different. And then I did a star toe because, you know, fireworks, stars. And then, of course, we had just a touch of embroidery, just something a little bit different on your sock. You don't see a ton of embroidery on knitting, but it can be a really, really pretty thing. And it's easy to achieve, and you end up with, you know, cute little fireworks. So there was that guy, fireworks. And then what was next? This one's October. This one's November. I don't think I have December. Oh, here is August. August was the It Never Stays in Vegas socks. And this one I did something a little different, just kind of something fun. I used the Twisted German cast on, which happens to be, it's also called Old Norwegian, but it happens to be one of my very favorite cast ons, especially for socks. I love the edge that it puts on it, and I like that it's stretchy enough, but it's not too stretchy. I used a French heel, which is down here. It's slightly different shaping on the heel. It's achieved just a little bit differently than some of your others. I used a pointed toe on this one. So it wasn't, it's not a star toe, it's a pointed toe. So you still have 2, 3, 4. You have 4 points where the toe comes together instead of having like 5 or 6, which is normal for a star toe. And then we used a randomized pattern, so we included a tiny little die with this pattern, and then you would roll the die, and that would tell you which pattern you put in for the die face. So like I started off with 3, and then I had 6, and then there's a 2, and then there's 4, and then there's 1, and then there's 5. But you could have had all 6s or all 3s, or you could have just done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the other sock. But this was really fun. Let's see. September was Chicken Little. I loved Chicken Little. We still have this fabulous yarn. This is actually this is Kokomo Yarns Mian. It's what it's named now. And this is a bamboo blend yarn, and oh my gosh, it is so soft to wear. It's a merino, bamboo, and nylon, I think. Am I right? Merino. It's wool. Yeah, bamboo and nylon. And I chose this color because it reminded me so much of barred rock chickens, which if you look up a barred rock chicken, you'll notice they're black and white chickens, and they have black and white barring on their feathers, and so I just had a thing for it. But I made these little puff stitches, and we use these puff stitches to make little eggs in the patterning of the sock, and we did lace as well. And we used a long tail cast on, and then a patterned heel flap. This is just an Eye of Partridge heel flap, and then a wide toe, so a little different construction. If you happen to have, you know, toes that have a little wider shape versus a little more pointed shape, a wide toe might be perfect for you. So that was September. October was super fun. This one, I believe, this is falling leaves or drifting leaves is what I called this. Drifting leaves, that's right. So this is the drifting leaves sock. It uses a double start cast on. It uses it's technically a peasant heel. I call it an afterthought heel in the book before I really learned that there is a difference between them. But I actually have you go in and add a piece of yarn that you then remove later to pick up your stitches, which apparently is a peasant heel, not the true afterthought heel. But this one's super fun because you work your pattern and you increase on one side and decrease on the other so that your socks spiral around your foot. And I made both of mine to match, to go the same direction, but you absolutely could have mirrored this. You easily could have mirrored this. And it would have been really cute. Really cute. So sorry. And it makes me sleepy. Anyway, and then it's very, very textured because of these leaves, because you're constantly increasing and decreasing the amount of stitches. That's what makes these puffy leaves super fun. And then the toe is just a regular wedge toe. So a regular wedge toe. But this was really fun. I love working a peasant heel or an afterthought heel, either one. They're fun to construct. They aren't my favorite to wear, but they're one of my favorites to actually construct. Because you go back in and you pick up stitches on both sides of a waist yarn, or you cut your yarn and unravel halfway back and then keep going, picking up stitches to make your toe. So it's really fun. I mean, it's really, really fun. And like, it makes it, excuse me, really easy to replace the heel if you happen to have, you know, giant holes that you can't fix. And it makes it really easy to put in contrast color there too. So it's just something different. But that was October. November then was the Armistice socks. And I used Armistice because I combined a Pico cast on. So here's our Pico cast on, different than that Pico hem where you were casting off. This one you actually have to sew it down. This one you create the picos as you go, so it's a very, very different construction. But you end up with a similar look where you've got these little bubbles, little picos that stick up, okay? This one I combined then with the German heel and the French toe, which is why I called them armistice socks. And again, in a nod to World War I. So with a German heel, again, just a little different construction. You have some pearls on each side of your heel, and then you use the decreases down the center of that toe, or excuse me, heel towards the toe. And then with the French toe, you have 6 points of decrease, and you do it in 3 areas so that you end up with 3 kind of ridges in your toe. And these socks were, you know, pretty fun to knit. They're super bouncy. This was Collinette Jitterbug, which I don't think you can get anymore. But there's a lot of yarns out there that are very similar to it. If you could get like a downbreed yarn, that would be super awesome with this. But you know, it's springy and it's bouncy. Just something really fun. And then for December, I chose to do a stocking, and we made it out of the Lopi because Tina just adores the Lopi. This guy, that's my snowflake Christmas stocking. It's a really easy stocking to make. I think you knit it, yeah, on size 6 needles, so it's huge. It's a great way to practice making a sock because it is such large yarn, and it gives you something usable when you're finished with it. You could always felt it too if you wanted, although I didn't choose to do that for my particular sock. But I really liked making all of the socks for Hoppy Feet because I learned so much in trying to find ways to teach you new things. And it was just a fun adventure. So here's the giveaway. I'm going to give away a copy of Hoppy Feet and a skein of sock yarn. And I don't know which skein of sock yarn yet, but I'll find some sock yarn. I'll post a picture of it. And the only thing that you have to do to be entered for the giveaway is to comment on either the YouTube video that I will post of this live Facebook video, or comment on the Facebook post. That's it. Make a comment. You guys have a week. I'm going to give away a copy of my book, Hoppy Feet, and a skein of sock yarn to go with it. And I might throw in some other stuff too. I'll see what I've got laying around. You have a week. You have a week. So next Monday, my birthday, November 2nd, I'm going to give away a sock book, a skein of yarn, and maybe some other stuff. Who knows? And don't forget that I still have the buy one, get one sale on all my patterns on Ravelry, as well as the buy one, get one using the code BIRTHDAY on all patterns on Black Sheep Fiber Emporium. And that is good all the way through November 3rd. So treat yourself to a little something fun, a little something nice. Now, I also wanted to share with you that I finally bound off the giant shawl. It's my giant shawl. This hasn't been blocked yet, and it's I mean, that's a pretty good arm span right there. When this thing hits water, it is going to block even more. And yes, it's silk and sea sell, and I'm still going to throw it in water, get it good and wet, and then stretch it out. So sometime soon we need to do this. I don't know, what do you think? Like maybe a week from Wednesday? Should we block the shawl finally? I think that could be a lot of fun. Let's see. And then this coming Wednesday. So again, I'm aiming for 3 o'clock now. If you haven't like tuned in before, my goal is 3 o'clock Central. And I'm going for, let's see, so that's 3 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Pacific, because honestly, I got Ina to go down for a nap 10 minutes before this video, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to prep. But that's okay. It just is what it is right now. Anyway, Wednesday, I'd really like to take you through all the things I learned that I've been doing wrong with my wheel, or the things that I've learned since I started spinning again after a 4-year hiatus. Because I'm pretty sure it was 4 years. I thought it was only like 2 or 3, but the more I think about it, I think it was 4 years since I've spun. So yeah, Wednesday, I would really like to show you all the things that I've had to like fix and or the things that I've learned with my wheel. And I want to talk about like spinning and plying and some of that stuff just for fun. And I'll show you some fun things there. Hopefully you'll learn something and you won't make the same mistakes that I did. I can only hope, right? And if you missed it, Tina did a really fabulous demonstration last Friday on needle felting a really cute little pumpkin. So if you want to try needle felting a pumpkin, she has kits available now. You can get that at blacksheepfiberemporium.com. And she's putting up a, I should say a more detailed, that's the word I want, a more detailed video on how to make those pumpkins on YouTube, but she does have just her raw Facebook footage if you want to follow along with that from last Friday. So super fun stuff. And I don't know, maybe next Friday she'll show us like what she's been dyeing or something. I don't know, we'll find out. So yeah, Wednesday I want to show you all the things that I did wrong with my wheel, how to fix things on your wheel, talk about some interesting spinning stuff. And then next Monday we'll do the giveaway and we'll talk about color work a little more because I have started to put together some like color work ideas and we'll see, I think it'll work. And then the Wednesday, November 4th. So boy, we get into November so soon. Wednesday, November 4th, we will block the lace shawl that I've been working on forever. So that's kind of the schedule coming up. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go for today. But yeah, there's a giveaway. Hoppy feet, skein of sock yarn. We'll see what else I decide to throw in. I'll scrounge around my house. I'm sure that I have some other fun things that I could add to the pile. And all you have to do is either comment on the Facebook post with this video or comment on the YouTube video once I get it up. And you have until next Monday on my birthday when I'm going to give away a sock book and a skein of sock yarn just because I can. Because I can, and it sounds fun. So anyway, yeah, that's all there is to it. Okay, until Wednesday, again at 3 o'clock my time, 3 o'clock Central. Until Wednesday. Yeah, here's Marshmallow. Come here, you. Marshmallow says, say hi, Marshmallow. Stay happy and stay healthy and wear your mask and take care of yourself physically, emotionally, mentally. You know, just be kind to yourself. So one of those years, be kind to yourself. And keep crafting because, you know, that helps me with my sanity, right? It's craft sanity for me. And I am going to go finish plying an experimental skein for me that Targi. I've been posting photos on the Black Sheep Instagram if you don't follow us there. I'm trying to remember to put them on Facebook too, but I lost my ability to just push it over. So now I have to think about what I'm doing. I know. Too much thinking. Anyway, so I will see you guys Wednesday and take care of yourselves. So, bye.